Hi, so this question is sliding window maximum. So you are given an in nums array and then also integer k. So for every single k length inside the nums array with different index, you need to grab the maximum value. So this is not really hard to understand, but it is really hard to code for sure. So this is the size of k, right? So the maximum number is 3. So we will just allocate the value, the 3 into what? Into the first value, and the second length should be what? From here to here, right? And the maximum value should be 3 as well, right? So we allocate the second index, and so on, right? So you just definitely understand that what it actually meant. So how do you actually need to solve this? You will definitely need what, like a Deque, right? So the reason why I use the Deque, I mean ArrayDeque, it's not Deque, like it's ArrayDeque, right? So ArrayDeque, like you can actually pull first or pull last, it depends, and definitely you can add first or add last, right? So there are two different like endpoint that you can actually retrieve, right? So in this case, right? So when we need to check, like we need to check the index. If the index is actually within the bound, right? It's actually within the k length, right? So imagine like you add 3 into the ArrayDeque, right? And then at this point 5, for index 5, right? You need to know, like, this is for index 5, I mean at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At index 4, we don't need the value of 3, right? So this is what? This is auto bound for this index, right? So just in case you don't know, like this is what you need to set the boundary, right? So when I minus k and then plus 1, if this is greater than the index inside the Deque, then you need to what? You need to pull first, right? So for every single value, like when you check this condition, you need to pull first. This is because you add this value already, right? So you will keep adding the value at the end, right? So for every single value, you will definitely add a value at the end. And once you add this value, right, on the following index, so you need to check the length k for every single index, and also you need to what? You need to pull when the current value, which is what, greater than the value inside the stack. So I mean inside the ArrayDeque, right? So ArrayDeque, something like this, right? So if this is greater, like the current value which is greater than the value inside the ArrayDeque from the end, then you need to pull, last. Then for every single index, if I minus k plus 1, which is greater or equal to 0, which means like you are starting, because you are generating a new array, right? And then you need to what? You need to keep updating the value for every single value. And if this is greater or equal to 0, right, then you will just pick first, right? Because the value inside the ArrayDeque, right? For the first one is always the value you need to what? You need to add into the new array. So this is it, right? So it might be hard to like see it, but I'm going to definitely like describe really clearly and while I'm coding. So I need ArrayDeque, and this is going to be, I need to push an integer, right? So I'm going to call this, and this is ArrayDeque, and I need a return in array. So new int, and the size of the int should be what? num.length minus k plus 1. So just think about this. This is what? Size of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? This is size of 8. And what happened to this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 and 6. So should be what? 8 minus 3, which is 5 plus 1, right? So this is how you get it. And then we definitely need to return result, right? and then we need an index for the result in array. So this is pretty much it. So I need to traverse a nums array, and for every single value inside the list, right? Then we need to add a value for the index. We need to add the index for nums, right? So I will say list.offer last at I. So I add the index into the ArrayDeque, and then when I compare, I actually like pick first or pick last based on the nums. So first thing, check if the list index, the beginning or first beginning index is within the boundary of k, right? So while definitely this is not empty, and also I minus k plus 1, right? If this is greater than what? List.pick first. If this is greater than if the value inside the list ArrayDeque, which is what, less than the I minus k plus 1, then I need to poll, right? So list.poll first, and this is going to be pretty straightforward. And this is what the value is less than current value, right? So while list is not empty, and also the nums at list.pick last, right, which is less than or equal to the current value, which is nums at I, you need to list.poll last. So imagine like you add a 3 into the list already, right? And then the ArrayDeque, and then you also need to add -1, right? But like -1 shouldn't be added, right? But however you add a -1 into the ArrayDeque whatsoever, but on the following index you need to check, right? So you need to check the value inside the ArrayDeque, and then you just poll last, and then just keep your 3 inside the ArrayDeque until assign the value into result in array result, right? So if I minus k plus 1, this is going to be really similar to this one. If this is greater or equal to 0, you check the condition, right? Result at index plus equal to nums at what? List dot what? Pick first, right? You need to always append your first value inside the ArrayDeque into the new array, right? And then for every single time you increment your index, and then like your next value is ready. So let me run it. So if I have error or not, no, I don't. So this is gonna be pretty much a solution. So I know this is hard, but you need to just follow the logic. So based on the sliding window, there are a lot of ways, but this is kind of easy to me to understand. And I made a note, so just in case you forget. And the time and space, so for the time, this is going to be all of n represent length of the nums array. And it doesn't matter there are while loop inside the for loop, because you actually need to poll the value you already inside the ArrayDeque, right? So it doesn't, this should be constant, right? You're just comparing and then pull the value out quickly for the current iteration, right? And this is going to be all of n for the time, and then this is going to be the space is going to be all of n. You definitely need to add the value into the ArrayDeque, for every single value, right? So the worst case is going to be add every single one of them, right? So this is all of n, and time and space are all of n, so this is going to be pretty much a solution. So I will talk to you later. Bye.